What if I tell you that the world you live in is just one facet of reality? Imagine a city drowning in neon lights, where every sound is a melody of droning beats, and the air is infused with the energy of virtual interactions. People here fly in high-speed vehicles, as if October meets the whims of evening twilight, while bright signs lure you into multifaceted worlds of alternatives and dreams. Viewers, are you ready to dive in? Walking through the streets of this urban labyrinth, we see how high technology intertwines with nature. The leaves shimmer in the rhythm of neon lights, and flowers bloom to the beat of electronic rhythms. Every corner is a quest for knowledge, every moment a chance to change one's fate. But beneath the surface, beauty lies a mystery. Technology has become a new people, true rulers, while human destinies are just puppets in a virtual game. Here, in this atmosphere as bright as a rainbow, heroes meet, each fighting for their place in the sun, striving to be at the top of the social hierarchy. But who among them understands that true power lies not in dominion over others, but in the ability to create connections and support those who remain unnoticed? The line between the virtual and the real blurs, and ponder this. How would you act if you suddenly found yourself in the role of one who must choose between manipulation and humanity? Will you navigate through this surge of emotions, leaving behind vibrant illusions and choosing the real? Each of us here is not merely a player in virtual reality, but a living soul with a dream of recognition and love. These people make choices, and even in a world of high technology, they need not only strategy but also the warmth of human connection. How to find balance between the light of technology and the darkness of vulnerability? What is the worth of your true self in this new world? How will each of our paths unfold in the social maze where the only currency becomes sincerity and openness? Prepare yourselves, we are just beginning this journey into an exciting world where every decision could change everything. What if I told you that you have an assistant who knows how to achieve success even if you don't believe in yourself? Imagine a great virtual advisor, sincere and intelligent, who exists only in the digital world. His unique abilities can change people's lives, filling them with energy and the desire to move forward. The virtual office of this mysterious advisor is unlike anything else. Holograms shine brightly, showcasing the colossal achievements of his clients. Graphs reaching up to the clouds of success and dynamic images of happy people who have realized their dreams bring the space to life. Each new goal is a new star in his mosaic. Have you ever wondered how you could change your life if you had such an advisor? This virtual genius can penetrate the soul, see the strengths and weaknesses of his protégés, and help them find the right path. He is like a magician who opens doors to possibilities with a snap of his fingers. How does it work? Behind the beautiful picture lies hard work and a myriad of educational tools. Each client, when reaching out to him, begins their unique journey. The advice he gives is not just trivial. It is based on deep knowledge that can change even the most tangled fate. But what lies behind this trusting connection? Can a virtual assistant predict your desires? What happens when he takes on your dream? These questions demand answers. In this world full of uncertainty, our hero is a support that will help you stay on track. Get ready to discover how he will turn your life into a success story. Because this virtual advisor doesn't just help, he inspires. Are you ready to steer your destiny in the right direction? What if everything you were taught about wealth is completely wrong? In this world where technological wonders change our perception of possibilities every day, live people with absolutely different ambitions. We are introduced to a gallery of characters representing different layers of society, each striving for their ideal. Imagine A young mother from a poor neighborhood who dreams of providing her child with better living conditions, and a successful businessman facing a moral dilemma, climbing the corporate ladder. Seemingly from different worlds, their paths intersect in a completely unexpected context. Against the backdrop of shimmering skyscrapers and bustling streets where everyone rushes to find their happiness, real dramas unfold. At what cost is success achieved? Can they understand each other? Can a simple worker who has lost everything support even a wealthy person in their difficult situation? We look at a librarian who finds a secret passion in app development and a retiree who reconnects with their dream of traveling. Their stories may seem different, but they all share one spark: the desire to be heard, understood, and to leave a mark on this world. With each step, their stories intertwine, creating a unique picture of a society where ambitions collide and dreams become reality, or conversely, burst like soap bubbles. Each of them wages their inner battles and discovers new horizons. Ultimately, it turns out we all strive for the same thing: to be understood and to fulfill our dreams. This is not just a gala exhibition of human stories, but a deep analysis of how different characters with different goals find common ground, even when it comes to the hardest choices. In a moment of crisis, in a society where technology reigns, they can come to each other's aid, overcoming all differences. The mesmerizing dynamics of these images reveal the truth that, despite the stratification of society, we all have the opportunity to change our fate and help others do the same. And it is here, amid contradictions and conflicts, that we can find the spark of mutual understanding and hope. What would happen if you stopped limiting yourself? Imagine a young woman named Katya sitting in a cozy room surrounded by maps of her dreams. Her eyes are full of anticipation, but inside there is a fear of failure. She has been searching for a way to change her life, but everything around her seemed unattainable. She opens her virtual advisor app, and at that moment the world opens its doors. Every piece of advice sounds like a key to her cherished dream. "You can do it," says the voice, writing her into a new reality. With each step, Katya moves closer to her goal. The virtual reality immerses her in an exciting world of possibilities. She flies in a hot air balloon over mountains, participates in a marathon, and overcomes all obstacles. Emotions overwhelm her: triumph, pride, joy. And then, the day of triumph arrives. Katya stands on stage, her name rings out in the crowd, and she feels a fire igniting in her chest as applause fills the hall. This is not just success, it is her victory over her own fears. The virtual advisor was merely a mechanism, but it is what opened the doors she could not see. It is inspiring. Dreams can become reality if you just take the first step. Katya smiles, and her heart is filled with gratitude. Now she knows that nothing is impossible. What if you believed in yourself just as she did? What happens when envy takes over? Have you ever thought about how quickly good intentions can turn into aggressive competition? Success attracts attention, and not all of that attention is benevolent. Imagine, a company has just signed a lucrative contract. Congratulations abound, glasses are raised, and joyful faces surround you. But soon, behind the facade of universal celebration, gossip begins to flare up. People you considered colleagues and friends start to weave intrigues. Your success breeds envy, and it is like a poisonous snake, ready to strike at any moment. It may seem like just another workday, a few light jabs at meetings or innocent conversations in the hallway. But behind this mask of goodwill lurk real dramas. One misstep, one public dissatisfaction, and you could find yourself at the center of a scandal that will ruin your reputation. The enigmatic tale of treacherous betrayal is not just a fiction. It is a reality among those who stand on the other side of your success. Do not let ambition cross the line of worthy competition. When envy begins to overwhelm, even the closest people can unexpectedly become a source of danger. The key is to remember those who were with you on the path to success and to walk through life with them, as they are the ones who can help you cope with the dark side of that success. Are you ready to be cautious? Or perhaps you have already encountered this dark side. It's time to reflect. Does your environment reflect true friendship or hidden competition? What if your control over the outside world is just an illusion? I stand here on the street where the bright lights of the city sparkle like stars, and despite all this beauty, a real hurricane rages inside me. All these clients, stories, destinies, their lives are like puppets hanging on strings. I try to pull these strings to make everything go as planned. I thought this would save them, but in reality I am capturing their freedom. Every morning I wake up thinking that I can make the world a better place. But the more I pull these strings, the stronger they break. Are you afraid to step into our magical world where everything is under control? But what will happen when this illusion dissipates? In my desire to hold everything in my hands, I sacrifice what truly matters. I look at passers-by, each carrying their own story, their own dreams, and I feel a slight chill run down my spine. How? How long can I continue to maintain control before I lose myself? This internal struggle eats away at me from the inside. Every successful day brings joy, but along with it comes the realization that I can no longer rely on anyone, not even on myself. I remember once hearing a story about a man who controlled everything: his business, his family, his friends. In the end, he was left alone, surrounded by emptiness and dolls without lives. And what does it mean to control if in the end you remain alone among the bright lights of this city? I don't want to become that. My thoughts swirl like leaves in a storm, but what if I let go of these strings, or simply allow people to choose their own paths? What if life isn't about control, but about trust? Oh, how hard it is to accept that. But if I can take this step, maybe I can pull not only myself, but also my clients toward true happiness. How can I free myself from these shackles? How, by reducing control, can I gain real strength? This internal conflict is my prison cell, but perhaps beyond its walls lies something much greater. I just need to learn to look not only at the lights, but also beyond them. Imagine sitting across from someone who understands you. How often have you felt that warmth when someone truly listens rather than just waiting their turn to speak? This conversation with a client started as usual, and I thought I knew all the answers. But when he began to share his fears, I suddenly realized my advice was becoming cold, disregarding emotions, and I wasn't hearing what he was trying to say. The client spoke about his experiences, how fears tighten around him from within, how it feels like darkness envelops everything around him. I suddenly understood that in my attempt to be professional, I missed the most important thing: human warmth and understanding. He mentioned that he fears the endless cycle that repeats in his life, and his words resonated in my heart like a dull blow. What if everything I've done has been wrong? The thought came. Is it really not enough for success to simply mechanically give advice? Throughout life, we seek answers, but the true truth lies in being there, supporting, feeling the other person, learning to hear and see. It was in that moment where hearts, connected through words, revealed a new understanding to me. I realized that business success isn't in skills, but in being a person who understands another. This is the path to self-awareness, to a success that is real and profound. It's important not just to give advice, but to bring light, to embrace with words when someone is lost in their fears. True understanding of others is the key to real success. What is success if it can collapse in an instant? The main character stands in the center of the square with people whispering around him. Every glance, every joke is like the edge of a knife. He hears a familiar voice. He couldn't help me, and now he says he understands life. Laughter bursts forth like loud gunshots, hitting their target, his self-esteem, his reputation, his strength, everything he believed in. There it is, exposed for all to see, bloody and torn apart. A recent evening flashes in his memory. He assured a client that everything would be fine. But at the moment when the need was at its peak, he lowered his head, unable to find the right words. A question arises in his mind. How could he have believed in this? It's scary and sad because mistakes, like scars, last a lifetime. Those who trusted him now look at him with suspicion. He feels a lump in his throat from anxiety that makes it hard to speak. Each step across the square becomes heavier. As if he is walking through swamps, each glance feels like a weight. The crowd murmurs among themselves as if he has become the subject of discussion in court. What will he do next? Perhaps he will retreat to the shadows where he can hide from mockery? Or will he find the strength to lift his head again and say, I learned from my mistakes? Each of us can betray, but not everyone is ready to rise again. In his mind, a picture emerges. He accepts the challenge to regain respect, but the price may be too high. He is afraid, and this fear weighs on him much more than the criticism. How hard it is to overcome one's own doubts and step back into the sunlight, when behind him are the fled hopes and tears of those who expected support from him. But it is in this dark moment where it was thought he was lost that his real transformation may begin. Now he knows. Mistakes are just stepping stones on the path to success. And despite everything that is happening now, he is ready to move forward. What if I tell you that all your familiar methods of working are just an illusion of control? Every time I sat down at the table with another client, I had a persistent feeling that I was losing myself in this game. We are all used to strict rules, to clear boundaries, but what if I tell you that the best way is not to control but to understand? I closed my eyes and recalled numerous personal stories of those who felt trapped, even when they had everything: money, status, success. Yet their souls were broken. And then came the moment when I decided, enough. I wrote on the whiteboard, compassion instead of control. These are not just words. They are the culmination of my reflections. I understand that without trust and compassion, true relationships cannot be built. I want every client of mine to feel heard and understood, not judged by results and numbers. An inner fire ignited in me. This will be my new strategy. How will my meetings change? What if I stop imposing my ideas and start listening with an open heart? Are you ready to join me on this journey? I am waiting for change. The feeling that there is something more behind this than just new methods fills me. Let's realize together what truly matters. I don't know what lies ahead, but I can assure you, this path will be filled with discovery. What if I told you that the most incredible connections are formed in the most ordinary situations? Have you ever thought about the experiences hidden behind the faces of the people you encounter every day? Each client that walks into my office brings their unique story, and each one is a small journey filled with hopes, fears, and aspirations. In one case, I met a woman sitting on the edge of a chair, her eyes filled with tears. She shared how she lost her job and, with it, the ability to provide for her family. In that moment, I saw not just a client, but a person with a depth of emotions. We spent an hour talking, reminiscing about how life sometimes throws challenges our way that require a strength we didn't even know we had. Every word exchanged between us was infused with support and understanding. Then there was the story of a young man dreaming of his cafe. He was clearing tables at a restaurant, and his eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as he shared his ideas. This conversation was a revelation for me. Instead of judging him by his current situation, I saw a future full of potential in him. Empathy as a bridge between us. These connections sometimes become the foundation for the changes we so desperately seek. They remind us of the importance of not losing our humanity in the routine. These small conversations become the seeds from which great things grow. Laughter, tears, revelations all create an empathy that binds us much more tightly than we can imagine. Sometimes when I take a step back and look at the process, I am filled with a sense of wonder. Each interaction is a tiny opportunity for change. After all, it is in these unpredictable moments that we find our humanity and realize that the invisible threads connecting us are far stronger than any circumstances. Each new contact becomes not just a stage of work, but a real opportunity for growth, both personal and professional. Are you ready to learn the truth about how sincerity can change everything? In the darkness, when all proven methods have been exhausted, that's where a new chapter begins. The main character realizes that the usual approaches don't work. He decides to set aside strategic schemes and mechanical formulas. Instead, he opens his heart, starts to listen to and feel his clients. As he prepares for a meeting with one of them, he understands. This is not just a business conversation, but a chance to become a friend, an ally in a common goal. They discuss not only numbers and metrics, but also dreams, fears, and aspirations. It's as if wings grew when they start communicating openly and without barriers. Every word is filled with sincerity, and in this atmosphere of trust, ideas begin to bear fruit. Smiles, laughter, and kind words become the foundation of relationships that change not only their perception of business but also the results. Their joint project begins to blossom like a spring flower breaking through the snow. They realize that sincerity is the fuel for growth, and soon their work starts to yield results. The results speak for themselves. Satisfied clients begin to recommend them to their friends, and acquaintances are astonished by the success, wondering what the secret is. Yes, this is not just an answer to set tasks, it's a challenge to old approaches. The main character feels his confidence growing, awakening a true leader within him. Sincere conversations become the key to success, and the client's journey no longer seems difficult. Now it's a devoted collaboration, where every step is considered and every decision is made in the spirit of friendship. This is not just business. It's a new understanding, a new dimension of relationships. How many such stories are there that no one talks about, yet they open doors to a world of possibilities? Can you be inspired by this wave of sincerity and change your approach? Are you ready to discover the secret that will change your life? Moments when we realize our true power are rare, but they can make us true heroes. The main character had been searching for answers all this time, working hard and studying. But in the end, he understood. Real strength does not lie in knowledge, but in the connections he builds around himself. How could that be? He noticed that when he offered his help not as an advisor, but as a good friend, the results were incredible. He recalled one time when he met a client going through tough times and simply listened to him, without bias, without advice. And in that sincerity, real magic happened. The client felt supported and blossomed in new colors. At that moment, the main character realized friendship and sincerity are not just words. They are real power capable of changing destinies. With each new acquaintance, he strengthened his connections, and each time it brought him more joy and satisfaction. He now understood that it did not matter how much knowledge or experience he had. What mattered was the ability to be there, to support and inspire others. And although there were challenges and doubts in this process, he felt he was successfully overcoming them. This opened doors for him that he had never even imagined. Each new step gave him strength and confidence. The main character met that client again to support him in his next steps. Instead of cold, offensive statements, only warmth and understanding. He smiled as the client thanked him, realizing that this was the true victory. Not financial, not career-related, but human. This meeting became the culmination of his journey. Each new day became a step towards creating more meaningful and strong connections. He saw how much light these connections could bring into the world, and he was not going to stop. He knew that the future was full of possibilities, and his true strength lay in sincerity and those around him. Incredible discoveries awaited him ahead, and he was ready for them. Do you know what your future looks like? Many of us dream of a world where technology makes our lives easier. But what if in this race for progress we lose the most important thing, our humanity? Looking out the window, I see streets filled with crowds of impersonal machines and shining screens. People walk with phones in their hands, immersed in virtual worlds disappearing from reality. But amidst this madness, I notice glimmers of hope, smiles of passers-by, warm glances, unpredictable moments of joy that spark like fireworks. Every time I watch a child play with a robot, I realize that there is still room in us for compassion and creativity. In this rapidly changing world, we need to remind ourselves that technology can serve us, not the other way around. Learning to balance innovation and emotions is where true power lies. I recall the story of my friend who, caught up in the daily grind at the office, forgot about his passions. He lost connection with friends and even with himself. But one day, simply going for a walk, he met an acquaintance who reminded him of an old hobby, drawing. This simple memory shone in his life like a star in the night sky. So what awaits us in the future? We can choose for ourselves what reality to create, a world where technology serves as a foundation for our human experience. Let's not miss the chance. We can become architects of a new future, where humanity becomes the starting point for all innovations. Let's open our hearts and continue dreaming, for this is where our true strength lies, being connected to ourselves and each other. In this world full of change, it's important to remember, the real magic happens when we maintain a connection with our inner selves. How do you want to see your future, E?